All right, here is a voice to get your morning started on the right note.
There's no perfect path to gold, and there's a bump in every road along the way. It's okay.
Sometimes you just need Alan Doyle to tell you it is okay. Like so many touring musicians, Doyle has been living his life on the road for decades, and all of that stopped, of course, when the pandemic started, leaving him at home, hunkered down in St. John's for the longest consecutive streak for him since 1994. Now, despite the forced break, Doyle is still finding ways to create, entertaining his fans with humor and heart that have cemented him as one of our country's most beloved artists. Alan Doyle is joining us this morning to share a few light tales for some heavy times. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Hello from the out east. We miss you. We miss you out here. I miss going to you, and I miss you guys coming to us. I can't wait for the green light to go on so we can all be together again.
Oh, I love that. You know what? I feel the same way. We were talking about what you've been doing during the pandemic, and at one point in the pandemic, you say this had been your longest time being at home since 1994, and your longest streak off stage since the 80s. So describe for us, what have the last 8 or 9 months been like for you?
Very strange. I mean, first, the winter, we played a gig in March, the 8th, I believe, in Vancouver. And then we were to come home for about 10 days and restart the second leg of the Rough Side Out Tour in Ontario about 10 days later. And, of course, none of that happened. And I was home until the middle of October, basically. And I went, we lucked out. And we were able to do a few small socially distanced concerts around the Atlantic bubble. We played in Charlottetown and in Halifax near in St. John's, just small little 80-person, 100-person shows. But up until then, it was the longest time I'd gone without a concert since I was 11 in 1980.
Wow. Unreal. And now, of course, Newfoundland PEI have pulled out of the bubble, so you're really at home, my friend.
Yeah, we're at home again now. I think it's going to be a temporary suspension. And I'm looking forward to getting back to all that. But it is, what I spent my time in the month of May putting together this book. Random House Canada, Penguin Random House asked me if there's something I could do quickly that might be able to come out in the fall, because they suspected people might need, some levity and a bit of a bright light during the dark times. So I quickly put together this book, which is really a collection of stories, some from my youth, my childhood growing up in Petty Harbour, a little fishing town, and some, traveling the world in bands and unusual encounters with famous people and odd situations. And more often than not, they're tales of my own missteps and folly, for my own embarrassment.
You are a gifted storyteller. We know that about you, and I love that you put it into written form. Can you share with us the one about you in the grocery store?
Oh, yeah. That's just one of the ones from my present life as a dad. And when my little fellow was a little smaller, we went to, you'd take your little fellow. Me and my wife went to the grocery store, and he liked the big race car or fire engine type, grocery cart to sit in. So we took 2 laps around 2 of the lanes, and then he started acting up. So my wife took him back to the car. So then it was me, Johnny Famous fella, walking around the grocery store, walking around the Sobeys by myself with a children's cart with no kid in it. Which I think would look unusual anyway. Yeah, I think it would look unusual anyway for a grown man to be doing that. But then when it's the only
cart?
I think around the tour with an empty kid's cart. Yeah, it's and that the book is really filled with stories like that of my young life growing up in Petty Harbour and my adult life kind of as a fella in a band and around the world down at home.
Alan, before we let you go, you gotta help us out with something here. So yesterday on the show, we were marking 1 month till Christmas Eve. Ben said it wasn't a thing, and then we got a flood of response from our Newfoundland viewers who were saying, no, it's a thing. It's Tibbs Eve. So can you explain to us what it is and how you celebrate it?
Tibbs Eve, lots of people will try to define Tibbs Eve for you. My explanation for it is that it comes from rural Newfoundland, where family obligations kick in on Christmas Eve. Right. So your last chance to really go out with everybody outside of your family is Tibbs Eve. And here's how I like to describe it. I describe Tibbs Eve as it's kind of like the Thursday night, of the week, so it's the Thursday night of the year, because who goes out, on the weekends? Everybody. You know who goes out on Thursday night and on Tibbs Eve? People who just can't wait. And those are the those are the people you want to go out with. Yeah, it's a thing. It's moved into St. John's, but it started in rural Newfoundland, and it's just a fun gathering when we're allowed to do it.
I could sit and talk to you all day, but unfortunately, we got to go. Alan Doyle, I'm so glad that you put your great storytelling into a book. It's called All Together Now. Can't wait to see you in person, my friend. Take care.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching. If you like this, be sure to subscribe here.
And you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.